Well, hello, and welcome to the In a Flash, The Years Go By podcast, where the Vernon, Texas High School class of 1982 alumni come home to tell the stories that shaped us long after we left the halls of VHS. I'm Ray Gerald, and every episode I have the privilege of visiting with a fellow Vernon Lion to revisit our high school days in Big V and share moments, memories, and milestones that carried us from our Vernon roots to wherever life took us next. These are the real-life journeys of classmates that walked the same halls, cheered under the same Friday night lights, roamed the Lion's Den floor, dragged Wilbarger Street, and watched the same Vernon, Texas sky light up. Our stories always begin in Vernon. Go, Lions! Well, hello, class of 82, and welcome to this episode of In a Flash, The Years Go By. Today I get the privilege of talking with David Logsdon. Hey, David, how are you, man?
I'm great. How are you, Ray?
I'm doing great. It's good to see you. We haven't seen each other in a while. I guess a couple of years ago when I was in Vernon, and stopped by and saw you. But other than that, we see each other at reunions, I guess, huh?
Yeah, that's about it. That's about
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for agreeing to do this. My first question I have for you is, you always went by Skeeter. How did you get that name, Skeeter?
Well, it's not a very long story. I was in church one Sunday, and Danny Lovelace, Mickey's brother,
Okay.
he called me Skeeter. He said, "You're just like a mosquito, just pesty. So I'm going to name you Skeeter," and that's where it actually originated. Not a lot
Okay.
of people know that. Probably I don't even know if Mickey knows that, but yeah.
Yeah, and you may have mentioned that over the years, since you and I were best friends for a long time. I don't remember. I don't remember that, but anyway, what year would that have been that you were called
Oh,
Skeeter?
I don't know. I won't say I was probably seventh or eighth grade, maybe.
Okay.
Uh,
So in middle
so
school. All right.
it's been a long time.
Yeah. All
there's
right,
not
Skeeter.
there's not a lot of people that call me that, but there are still some that do. Yeah,
Yeah, I think I call you Skeet.
yeah,
Skeet 9. I remember Skeet 9 because that was on your license plate.
yeah. It
Skeet
was.
9.
Yeah, it was for several years. So,
Yeah, yeah. All right, good. Well, let's talk about first of all, you're born and raised in Vernon, yeah?
yes, I've lived
Okay.
here all my life.
All you left.
Yeah,
Okay.
the only time I've ever got outside of here is I lived in a motel room, several motel rooms, working in different places because I traveled around and worked for a company for 4 years, and so
Okay.
so
All
I
right.
yeah I lived out of a suitcase.
All
So,
right. We'll get into some of those places here in a little bit. Tell me about your time in Vernon. So, uh, when you think of Vernon High School, what are some memories that come to mind for you?
well, the main thing, and when I was my junior and senior year, I only had like four classes, and
Okay.
and so I got out of school right after lunch, and the only time I went back after lunch was usually if it was sports activity or whatever.
Right.
And so I was in a work program. I
Okay.
didn't really work, but I was no. It's a kind of a story that I worked more on weekends than I did during the week.
Okay.
Working with my dad in construction, and he didn't make me work too much when I got out of school in the
Okay.
afternoons because he knew that I had sports and I'd have to go back, and so I'd only get maybe a couple hours in before I'd have to go back. And he said, "Nah, that's I'm not going to make you work during that
Yeah.
time." So
Okay. All right. So it has little perks there of having your dad as your boss, I guess.
yeah, yeah, it did.
And
uh,
was that what
but
was the program? Because I saw in the I did some of my research, before the call. I thought you're president of the ICT. Is that right?
yeah,
1 year, 2 years?
if you say so. I don't remember being a president. I remember being in ICT,
Okay.
and that stood for Industrial Cooperative Training. Is
Okay.
what it actually stood for. And I had Jim Smith as my teacher, and if anybody knew Mr. Smith, he was so easygoing, and so we watched a lot of films in class. Is what we
Yeah.
did, and
Okay.
if they were boring, I would ask him, "Hey, can I go walk the halls?" And he said he'd just tell me sign a pass. And so I would generally find myself in the gym, and that little gym there, and
Yeah.
I go in there and I play basketball with Vincent Whiteside.
Oh.
That's
Okay.
so
Was he in ICT too?
no, he was in PE, and so I would just
Oh.
go into their class and I would just
Okay. Just
because
play
I
basketball.
just play basketball. So, but
What kind of what kind of films like so when you talk about industrial or what
yeah,
was that?
it would be more like building stuff or just
Okay.
old documentaries and things like that. But
Right.
to be honest with you, I couldn't tell you a lot of them because, like I said, a lot of them I would just kind of dismiss myself, and
Yeah.
and he didn't mind me dismissing myself. So
Okay.
that's
And that was your upperclassmen years, so you
that,
didn't have
that
that.
was that was my junior and senior year. Yeah, my freshman and sophomore year, it was. I watched your interview with Jody Stringer, and Jody said, he wasn't too much of a student back then. Well, I wasn't either. I did not like school. Uh,
Okay.
school was just no fun for me except for when I would get to play some sports and all. And I didn't apply myself very well. And as a matter of fact, for the first first 3 years, I just had a basic English. Just I mean, it was very very basic, and I I had a good grade in there. I had like a 98, 99 average, but it was so simple. Uh, and I guess my senior year, I wanted to take class, my English class, and the only way I could work it in that schedule with ICT was take a college prep English, and that was scaring me to death. But a couple of people I talked to that was going to be in that class, said, we'll help you through it. We'll help you through it. And luckily they helped me through it. So, and
Oh,
I
good.
didn't do too bad. So, but for my sophomore and junior year, I had the same teacher. Not that I
Okay.
failed.
Right.
She
Yeah,
she
they
just
just taught the
moved up
same.
from she just moved up from
Yeah,
the
yeah.
10th grade to 11th grade teaching, and
Okay.
so
And who
I
is
had
that?
2 years, and that was Miss Becky Rogers.
Becky
Sweet,
Rogers.
sweet
Okay.
lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I
Good.
really
And
liked her.
who'd you have for senior English? Did you have
I had Miss
Miss
Hughes.
Hughes? Miss Hughes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
All right.
yes, yes,
All
yeah.
right. And it
And
wasn't so bad.
no, it wasn't so bad. Well, like I said, I had some people that helped me kind of through it. And one thing I hated to do is read. I could not
Oh.
stand to read. And to this day, I probably couldn't tell you a single book that I read in school. I mean, I would just try to take the test and pass. And
Yeah. Good luck with that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
It's kind of like taking the ACT test.
Yeah.
When I took that thing, I just went in there and I just colored dots. I mean, I really didn't want to
Hey.
be there, but I knew that I was supposed to be there and I had to be there, so I just
Yeah.
colored dots.
Yeah. I understand. All
Uh,
right. What other activities? You said sports, so you played all three different sports, right, for a while.
well, my freshman year, I played basketball, I played football, and I played baseball.
Hmm.
And well, I was on the baseball team. I didn't get a lot of love playing time.
Yeah, I
Uh, we,
hear
but
you.
yeah, as Jody told you, we had some really good athletes during that time, and we did. And those upperclassmen probably made us a lot better for our senior class because we faced them as we'd do scrimmage games. We'd have like one team against the other, and Ricky Faust would be a pitcher on one side, and Peter Hines would be the pitcher for the other team, and both those boys could hum the ball, man. I mean, they could throw the ball, and so yeah, it was a lot of fun, and like I said, that probably helped us more than anything when we got to be seniors.
Yeah, yeah, and go ahead.
The only other class that I really enjoyed was art.
Art, okay.
Yeah, and I the first couple of years I had. Or maybe it's just first year. I had Mr. Brand, William Brand. He was my teacher, and you could go in his class, and he would just let you draw whatever you wanted to. And I like to draw, and and I found out that during that time I was pretty good at it. But I'm not one of them people that can draw from imagination. I had to see something, and then I could pretty much copy it.
Okay.
And then I guess the last year I had art, it was met with Miss Ripley, Claudia Ripley, I believe.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, she was my last teacher that I had in art, and oh man, I didn't like that because she was she was one of them that you could go in there and she would make you draw something. Not whatever you wanted to. It was like she would do a still life and say, "Here, this is what I want you to draw today." And I didn't like that. I like, just kind of drawing what I wanted to. And I ended up getting in trouble in her class a couple times. Yeah.
What does getting in trouble mean?
Well, she asked me. We were supposed to turn in a daily drawing. Okay. And I told, and that one day, she had something and I didn't want to draw it. And then I just refused to draw it. And so she said, "Well, you're going to get a 0 for the day." And I said, "Okay," just nonchalantly, Well, the next day, the same thing, I mean, and she had some, and I refused to draw it. And she said, "Well, you're going to get a 0." And I said, "Okay." Well, the third day, she said, she sent me to the principal's office.
Okay.
Well, I think I got licks, but I think that was from Mr. Easley.
Mr. Easley.
And he didn't try to swing the board real hard like Mr. Boynton did. Okay. Anyway, she finally asked me. She said, "What is it going to take you to turn in a daily drawing?" And I told her, I said, "Just let me draw whatever I want." I said, "If you let me draw whatever I want, I'll turn in a drawing." And she said, "Okay, but do not tell anybody else in the other classes what I'm letting you do." And so I didn't. And so after that, it became a lot better.
Okay, well, good. All right.
I was a little stubborn.
Yeah, I kind of remember that about you a little bit. Just a little headstrong. But that probably serves you well sometimes. When you played sports, what are some funny or fond memories of either football or basketball? And before we get into the baseball, that seemed like most your biggest love, I think.
Yeah, it was. But football, I was, like I said, I was small. I think I graduated high school. I think I was 5'1", and I think you were the only person shorter than me as far as the guys.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah, I think that's why you and I become really good friends when you came to Vernon.
There he is. That guy's smaller than me.
That's shorter than me. Yeah. So anyway, playing football, I enjoyed it. In the 7th and 8th grade, I was, like I said, I was little. And 7th grade, I played middle linebacker.
Really?
And then in the 8th grade, I played nose guard.
What?
Yeah, I was a nose guard.
Did you go out for that, or they pay you? That's what you're playing.
That's where they put me. And then, well, I think part of it is I was so so quick I could, get around the blockers or whatever. But anyway, and then when I went to the high school, they put me at defensive back and wide receiver.
Okay.
And I think it was a freshman year was it was either freshman year or sophomore year was the only time I caught a touchdown. It was either a touchdown or a 2-point conversion. I'm not really
Right.
sure. I did catch one in the end zone. I remember getting plowed after I caught it, but that was
Nice.
and Jody Stringer threw the ball. But a lot of
Okay.
times Jody, when he was quarterback, he would throw that ball so quick because he knew them guys would be in on it. And anyway, and then the sophomore year, I played mainly like a defensive back.
Mhm.
And I remember in practice one day, Roy, we were defense playing against the offense, or
Right.
a lot of times the guys would go both ways,
Right.
and the better players. Anyway, they had me on cornerback, and Roy he come around the corner with the ball, and him and I went head to head. And I remember I just felt like, man, he just knocked me out. I mean, it hurt,
Yeah.
but after that, I don't even know if Roy remembers that. But anyway, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm too little to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. But nobody told me what they should have, but
Yeah,
okay.
but
Uh,
soft, basketball, I didn't get a lot of playing time. I remember Philip Graff and I sitting on the end bench and squirting water bottles at each other, just to make us
You and
look
Philip.
like we had been sweating,
Yeah. Who were the in freshman year? Who was the football coach?
The freshman year, I'm gonna think who was that? Man,
It
now you
wasn't
test.
Corbin, was it? Corbin? Coach Corbin?
I don't know if he was freshman or was he at the high school or was he at the junior high? No, he was at the high
He
school.
was
He was, yes, he was the coach.
okay.
Coach Corbin, and there
All
was
right.
one other one because there was always two of them.
Okay.
Uh, and
Uh,
man,
and
you're
then
testing
Coach Brazel.
me
Coach
now.
Brazel, right? And Coach Bowles, just because I remember them from JV,
They
right?
were,
That was your
they were
sophomore year?
JV. Okay, all
Yeah.
right. So it would have been Corbin and I think Kenny Rails back.
He was back. Okay.
I think them two were the coaches in
Okay.
our freshman year.
All right. And who coached? Was Coach Coker the freshman and JV
Coach,
coach in basketball or somebody else?
Coach Coker was the varsity coach
Okay. Who
when
coached basketball?
when we were there. Who coached basketball? I think Coach Corbin coached basketball.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right. So you got
yeah,
him double.
yeah,
All
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
right.
we did. Yeah. So,
But not
but
much playing time.
yeah, but I mean, like I said, I enjoyed it. I just found out I was a little small,
Yeah.
but I remember my junior year, I wore a mobilizer. I don't know if you remember that. I wore a mobilizer on my knee
Yeah, I
for
think I do.
so it went all the way up to the thigh, all the way down to the ankle, and
Okay.
I wore that for 6 months. I started in the summer uh,
Okay.
before our junior year, and then I wore it all through the football season and most of basketball season. So I wasn't able to play even if I wanted to.
Right. Well, how
And
did you hurt your leg?
they they told me it was called Osgood Slaughter's disease. It's where your bones are growing faster than your body, and
Oh,
it put a big knot underneath my knee, and it
okay.
hurt all the time. And so I don't know what that immobilizer was supposed to do, but anyway, I wore that most all day and all night, and the only time I was able to take it off is when I
Right.
take a shower or go to bed.
Right.
And
Okay.
so it was a
All
long
right.
process.
Yeah. I remember you having that, and is that about when you had a growth spurt? Probably junior senior. Well, for us,
No,
whatever a growth spurt is.
I didn't have growth spurt until we got out of school.
Yeah,
Because
me too.
unless you call 5'1" a growth spurt,
Well, for me, hey, David, I'm going to take it. I'll take it.
yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah. No, I did
uh,
all my growing when we got out of school
okay.
because
Yeah,
now I'm 5'9" now, so I
mm. Man, you
all my
did grow away from me.
yeah my
Okay.
growing from after school. So, but and
Uh,
then I guess my senior year, I broke my ankle, uh, and so I was in a cast for a while,
uh-huh.
uh, and
How'd you break
so
your ankle?
I broke it playing volleyball and outdoor
Oh,
recreation.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was
Okay.
one of my 4 classes.
Yeah, yeah. Outdoor rec. Boy, you had a slew of tough
Yeah,
classes there. Uh,
yeah. See, math, I didn't. I took the first 2 years that you had to take math. I took the
yeah.
first 2 years, and after the first 2 years, that's no more math for me. And
All
which
right.
is kind of ironic now that I've been in construction all my life, and
Yeah.
you got to know numbers, and so
Yeah. Numbers, yeah. And probably in the drawing probably helped you, I'm guessing. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've drawn a few plans for people and stuff like that. I don't have an architecture license or anything, but I know how to draw stuff, and
Right.
I can read it, so it's pretty easy for me to draw it if you can read it.
Okay.
So,
So what did
but
you besides sports, what did you get from high school? Saying you didn't like it, but what did you get from whether it's the English or the level of math you took, the ICT, or the videos you watched, whatever. What did you get from those academic part of school?
well, the ICT part, it kind of helped me, with my career because I pretty well knew that when I got out of school that I was going to go to work. I wasn't the one that, like I said, wanted to do any more education.
Hmm.
Uh, my dad, he, kind of pushed me to go to do some education, and I told him, at the time, Vernon College didn't have baseball, but they kept saying that they were going to get it, and I said they're going to get it, Dad. And when they do it, then I'll try to walk on there. And I said, 2 years they said they're going to develop the program. Well, in 2 years they didn't develop the program, and I just kind of stayed in the working field. So ICT helped me in that aspect, and then of course having a dad, teach you the trade as well. That was instrumental. Uh, as far as math and English, like I said, you wouldn't believe how many people in today's society do not know how to read a tape measure.
Oh,
You
really?
know, I've had people that applied for jobs with me when I had my own business, and I would, ask them just to show me a mark, like 12 and 9/16. Show me that on a tape measure, and
They
they
can't
couldn't
do
do
it?
it. They couldn't do it.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, and how do you not know how to read a tape measure? I think I learned that when I was in middle school.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
anyway, so math, it kind of helped me in that aspect because and then as far as English, I'm not a real good speaker or a real good writer. I can't spell for nothing, so uh, I just had some good. I had some good teachers that
Yeah.
they just had a hard headed student.
They got the best out of you that they could.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I understand.
yeah.
All right, let's talk about the baseball. You were on that, that first district championship that Vernon had in baseball. So walk us through that. What was that like for you, being a part of that?
Well, it was a struggle for, I guess, my freshman, sophomore, and part of my junior season because I didn't get a lot of playing time.
Oh,
And
really? Okay.
yeah, so about the only playing time I really got my junior year was I got called to run the bases when somebody got a hit or
Okay.
something because
Yeah.
I had a lot of speed.
Yeah.
And so stuck it out. I don't know how many times I wanted to quit. Or tell you I wanted to quit,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there was many because I was frustrated. And
Yeah.
anyway, finally we got a chance, and we did have a really successful season. I think part of it we were content with winning district
Hmm.
because it's something never had happened, which at the time I wasn't content with just winning district.
Right.
And I do remember going to the game against Hershey that we had a playoff game, 1 game playoff against them, and I remember we got out of school and it was raining. I mean, it was pouring down rain, and we wasn't supposed to play.
Right.
And I don't remember who called me, but somebody called me and said that, hey, we're playing, and I did go get Johnny out of the arcade, and
Yeah, you said that.
and nobody could find Jody. I don't even know if Jody remembers this, but nobody could find Jody. And I said, I bet I know where he is. And I went and found Jody and told him, hey, we got a game. We're playing. And when we get there, they have these helicopters hovering over the field to dry it out, just so we could play that one game.
Wow. Okay.
Because the by district started right away. I mean, this was maybe it might have been on a Tuesday or something like that, or
Right.
and the by district started either Friday or Saturday. I mean, it was just
Okay.
we had to get that game in,
Right.
and so that's why they were pressing for us to play.
Okay.
But uh,
Well, are you able to, real quick, are you able to share where you found Jody?
at this time, I'd rather not. But I
Okay.
mean,
All right.
but
Okay, let's move on.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, we uh, I think us four seniors, I think we were the lead off in the batting. Uh, I think it well, I think it was, or I think Johnny might have been the fifth hitter, but I believe that I was the leadoff batter, and then Jody followed me, and then I believe Roy, and I think Ken Brock was our
Okay.
cleanup, and I think Johnny was the fifth uh,
Right.
in the lineup. Uh, but the first three, they're considered your table setters,
Yeah.
and and if the game kind of falls around, hopefully what the first three can do by getting on base and I think we played with a lead a lot throughout the district
Hmm.
that we didn't have to play from behind very often, which is good. Like I said, I
Yeah.
had a lot of speed, and the one thing I could do is I could bunt, and
Hmm.
whether the other team knew I was going to bunt or not, I mean they would move in because a lot of people knew that that's what I was going to try to do,
Right. Right.
and so I was able to a lot of times get on base by that bunt.
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot of power. I was little.
Hmm.
I did hit one home run. I don't know how. I
One
think I
home
closed,
run.
think I closed my eyes and swung. You
Well,
know,
it worked.
yeah.
You
To
should have
be
done that
honest,
more often.
yeah. To be honest, I still have that baseball to this day.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
it was against Ojai too,
Okay.
and it was
Softballs. Yeah.
yeah, but it was played in Vernon.
Okay.
Uh, like I said, I think I was around third base before I even knew it went over the field or over the field.
You couldn't even enjoy it. You just had to.
I,
You were just running
I,
too
didn't,
fast.
I didn't get a home run trot. I didn't get a home run
All
trot.
right. Okay. All right. So you win when you guys won district. What was that feeling like for you as a player on that team?
No, we were elated. I mean,
Yeah.
we could. I mean, I ain't gonna say we couldn't believe it because we had belief in ourselves that we could do it. But it was it was something. I mean, to be able to do that for Coach Brazel and Coach Doug Bowles. He was our assistant coach, and that meant a lot for us as a team.
Why did that mean a lot for you to win for Coach Brazel and Coach Bowles?
Because they've gotten so close so many times, and but it's like Jody said, we uh, had a lot of great athletes before us, but if you didn't win the district championship, you didn't go to the playoffs.
Right.
It's not like it is today, because if it was, Vernon would have been in the playoffs a lot.
Yeah.
People ahead of us, Brant Clifton, Rick Culler, Michael White, and them guys, they had a great team.
Hmm.
Mike Richardson at the catcher, they had a great team. They could have won easily, but the year that Ricky Fowles and Peter Hines and Bud Welburn and those guys could have went far. We just had a tough district.
Right.
So
Okay. All right. So how did you celebrate when you guys won? What position? You were out in the outfield, right?
yeah,
Left field, right field?
yes, I was in right field.
Right
I'm
field.
pretty sure we just probably, I don't know if we ran into and all just piled on one another. I don't really remember that part. I just remember, it was being excited,
Yeah.
excited time for Vernon baseball.
Yeah.
I
All
know
right.
Kathy McClellan, she followed us around, you know, constantly and was writing about us all the time. And so we had a real good following, which
Hmm.
uh, I don't recall baseball ever having a real good following like we had, but
Right there. Yeah.
we had a real good following.
Good. Did when you had to play the by district game against
Right.
Everman,
Yeah.
what was that like? Not doing as well as you, like you said, you wanted to go further and thought you could have, but what was the deal there?
Well, the first game, I'm thinking I don't remember the score, but I remember being close. That we had a good shot at it, and we were actually facing their best pitcher, and
Mm.
which at the time was Jackie Davidson, that later got drafted out of high school to play for the Chicago Cubs, and we played them really really close. Well, the next game I think we got beat pretty bad, but it's Johnny. He pitched a heck of a game, but he just wasn't getting the calls. Uh, and it was their number two pitcher, which is against Jackie Burks, which there again he went on to play professional baseball, and so they had a good team. But to say that they were better than we were, I don't know that they were better. That we just our bats quit working at the wrong time.
Just on that day yeah,
At the wrong
with
time. Yeah,
yeah.
both of those days, we didn't hit the ball,
Okay.
and
All
so
right. Well,
as Coach Brazel used to say, that's baseball.
that's baseball. That's how the baseball go.
Yeah,
All right. So those are the activities you're involved in. Uh, you and I, even though we never had any classes together, uh, I think we met my freshman year, and we were friends, close friends through high school, after high school. But so when you weren't in high school and you weren't working, what were you doing on the weekends? And
well, I was playing softball during the summer, the spring and summer. I would play in
okay,
softball leagues.
okay,
During the fall and winter, I played volleyball in volleyball leagues.
okay.
So
This was during high school.
yeah, after high school, I
Okay,
played co-ed uh, volleyball and men's league volleyball,
okay.
and every weekend we were gone out of town playing in a tournament somewhere.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
so not only did we play in league, we played in
Mhm.
tournaments. Just I mean, almost every weekend. And
Okay.
then the same way with baseball or softball. Whenever softball season came around, I'd play in co-ed league. I'd play in men's league. Play in church league softball. I just And then every weekend, if we wasn't playing in a league, we were playing in a tournament somewhere. So that's how I stayed busy.
Okay.
Yeah,
And so in high school, I mean, you and I, it seemed like most weekends we'd ride around and driving up and down Wilbarger
yeah,
and
yeah.
just do whatever folks did. Uh,
Do you ever remember us skipping school? You and I.
I don't remember skipping school. Did I skip school?
Well, you and I and Jenny Elliott and I think it was Shelley Robertson. We
Okay.
went to the basketball game when Vernon was playing in the
Oh,
McKinney
McKinney
basketball.
tournament. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't remember us leaving school. Okay, I guess we did then.
yes, we did.
In your van. I think didn't Ken Brock and uh, was Jill Duncan? Maybe they were in the van too,
No, it
possibly.
was, it was just us four because we left early that morning because they were playing. I believe they were playing early in the afternoon or
Okay.
that morning. But yeah, we said we're gonna go watch them. We're gonna go follow them, and we left school,
We went to
and
McKinney, huh?
yeah, we went to the
From
McKinney
Vernon.
basketball
Uh,
tournament.
For folks listening, that's north of Dallas, North Dallas area. That's a pretty good ways from Vernon. A couple hours, a few hours, 3 hours,
Yeah,
four. Maybe back then you had to drive 55, so
yeah, yeah.
4 hours.
It's about now with traffic and all. It's about 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
So
right. I do
yeah,
remember that. I do remember going there.
and
But I don't remember skipping school. I just figured we just went after school and drove
no,
up.
no,
But it
no.
was
We
for
left, we left school that one time. I think that was the only time I ever skipped school.
okay.
Believe it or not, as much as I didn't like school, that was the only time I ever skipped
Well,
school.
I'm glad you said that because when you said, "Do you remember skipping school with me?" I thought, "Wow, did I leave school a lot? I don't remember that at all." I just remember driving in you had a Firebird
Yeah,
at
yeah,
first, right?
yeah,
Uh, and we'll get into this later. But I was with you when you bought that Trans Am later on that
yeah,
had the Skeet 9 on it.
yeah.
Uh, okay, and I remember you let me. I don't know if you let me borrow it or you suggested strongly that I borrow your car to go to the football banquet. And I think my car had, I didn't have one, or I had that brown Grand Marquis Bomb with a big dent in the side. And you said, "Hey, this is a big deal." So, I was taking, I think, Donna Holland to the football banquet, and you said, "Hey, you need to take my car. Take my car." And I said, "Oh, okay." So I remember taking your car on that date, uh, and
Yeah.
that was cool of you to
That,
do that.
that, that was one thing I never had a problem with was somebody driving my vehicle. I, I had nice vehicles. I did. I
Yeah.
know the first one my mom and dad bought, and it was supposed to be shared between me and my sister. And she got mad at my dad and said she didn't want it anymore. And I thought, good, oh, good. so
What?
yeah,
Oh, that's nice. All right.
yeah. So I ended up with the Firebird, and so yeah, that's how I ended up with it. Otherwise, we were swapping cars every week. I would drive the Firebird one week, and then the next week I'd drive her Grand Prix. And
Okay.
so, but she got mad at him one day, and for some reason I don't even remember what the reason was, but I just remember she got mad, and I got the car.
Yeah.
And so
Who cares why she got mad? I get the car. And I remember your brother Steve. He had like an old red Ford pickup, maybe an old. Didn't he have
yeah,
that?
yeah, oh yeah. You remember having to push start that son gun a couple of times?
Maybe I don't remember. I just remember he had that old thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
sometimes he wouldn't start, and we had to push start, and he had to jump in and pop the clutch, and then that's how he got
yeah.
started.
All
So, yeah.
right.
Uh,
All right.
let me go back to our sports days.
Okay.
I know Jody said that they wasn't very good in basketball, and they wasn't very good in football. Our years, it was more of a rebuilding year, but you know, I remember our class being super small because if
Small
you
in terms
remember
of
a
physical or
size,
just numbers?
we had no size.
Oh yeah,
Benny Guzman, he was our
yeah,
guard, and
yeah,
I
yeah.
think he weighed all of 155 pounds. You know,
Maybe.
and,
Yeah.
yeah. So we just didn't have any size. I remember Roy, our quarterback, being one of our biggest,
bigger dudes. Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, and the same way in basketball, we had no height, and we had no size, and so I don't think we were bad athletes. I think we were, we just didn't have the size to compete with some of the schools that we were competing with.
Yeah.
So uh, like I said, I can't say that we had a bad group of kids or that was bad athletes. It just
Yeah.
didn't stack up very
That's
well.
right. Yeah. And yeah, I remember you guys would talk about players like from either seventh, eighth grade or didn't need to go out for football later on, like could have played, bigger dudes
No,
or faster
yeah,
people. They just didn't play for whatever reason. That
yeah,
may have helped the team, which could have impacted that. So there are some really good athletes. It's like those that never were kind of thing.
yeah,
That's from conversations we had. That
yeah,
they were just really good, but for it was either just playing football or playing a sport wasn't their thing, I
yeah,
guess. When
yeah.
you get
But
into the
and
older years.
I talked to some of them guys. I run into them, being still here in Vernon, and talk to them, and several of them wish that they would have made the decision to play because they know that they missed out on an opportunity, and
Yeah.
I still communicate with several people. Gary Wilson, Vincent Whiteside. I'd see Richard Torres, up until his passing. I'd see him quite a bit, and Stanley Gaines up until his passing. I'd see him quite a bit. Still one of my good friends around here, Vincent Whiteside. I still do stuff with him. Occasionally. I've had him over at the house, eating a couple times, and he always tells me, when I call him and say, "Hey, you want to come by and have a bite to eat?" And he, yeah, I just happen to be coming into the neighborhood, so yeah, I'll be there. And so yeah, I still communicate with several of them. Kim Stride, I still see her.
Okay.
I see her at work now because we
Okay.
work at the same
All
facility. So
right.
uh,
Was there a moment in high school that shaped your life, or moments maybe, not just one, but moments that shaped your life that guided the direction you ultimately took?
I wouldn't say so much gave me the direction I was going to take because a lot of that had to do with my dad. Because like I said, I knew pretty much that I was going to go into construction because I just like building stuff and doing that sort of thing. And so, when I was in school, he had a partner, and so I kind of learned from both of them. When Dad, got out of it for a while, and he went out to the state hospital and was teaching building trades. Well, I went to work for his partner, and then after his partner decided he was going to leave Vernon and move, and so when he did that, well, I had to find another one. So I found another contractor here, and I went to work for him, and so that's pretty much what I was going to do when I got out of school. Uh, Now I've had some really good, teachers that I've stayed in contact with and all, and so as far as being real people,
Mhm.
they I looked up to them. So,
Okay. All
but
right. Uh, so was there in sports, or maybe your teachers, who had the most impact on you?
I would say probably uh, Miss Rogers, Miss Becky Rogers, because yeah, I
Okay.
liked her.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Good. And what is it that she did or said or helped you with that had such a big impact on you?
She would just encourage me. She
Okay.
probably knew I wasn't the best student,
Mhm.
but she would encourage me, and she she helped me out, and just when she knew I was struggling or something, and she was just real genuine person.
Right, right. Okay. I can remember when we first met. I think it was that first year, freshman year, maybe in sophomore year, but that was our freshman year. Your sister passed, and I can remember Vernon, the outpouring of all her friends. Which would she have been the class of '84?
Yeah, she was 2 years
Yeah,
younger.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember all those. I've been at your house, and all those kids, that class coming to your house. Just showing their support for the family. What was that like if you want to talk about that?
Well, that was a hard time because we were a close family growing up. Not we wasn't very we didn't have any money or anything like that, and so we grew up in a little small two bedroom house.
Hmm.
My mom and dad got one bedroom, and my sisters got the other bedroom, and me and my brother slept on the couch. So, we which the couch made a bed. So that's so we were a close family growing up, and so that was difficult because it was a sudden loss. It wasn't supposed to happen. She went in for some surgery to uh, and just whenever they gave her the anesthesia, she just didn't wake up. So that was a shock. But I still see some of her classmates, and still stay in touch with them. And so, uh, but yeah, it was a hard time. But like I said, good friends. She had some good friends.
Yes, you did. That's being new to Vernon and the first time experiencing that someone losing loss like that, a family member, just seeing the outpouring of love and people coming to your house there on Gordon Street. Uh,
Yeah,
I just remember that being so, wow, that's a lot. I hadn't seen that before. So just thought of maybe a tribute to how Vernon folk are when it
yeah,
comes to supporting those who suffer some sort of loss.
yeah.
Um, how has that impacted you?
Well, it maybe helped me deal a little bit more with the loss later in life that we had. So
Mm,
so
okay. All right.
just seeing what my mom and dad went through. So
Yeah, yeah. What so what did you imagine life would be like after graduation? I assume you knew that you were going to go into construction or uh,
yes,
that's
and
what okay.
and, and I said I was never going to get married, never have kids, and
Oh yeah?
I was going to stay single all my life.
Okay.
That was the way I saw my life. I mean, because I didn't have a lot of relationships in high school at all.
Yeah.
And
Me
so,
neither.
and so, yeah, I think when you're small and everything, and the girls look at you like, oh, he's so cute just because he's so little, and
Yeah.
that's the thing, and so, but I didn't, I was just friends with everybody, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Same here. I don't even know if they ever said, "Oh, he's so cute because he's so little." He's just little.
Yeah.
But it's good. At least we were funny, so that's good.
We had a good time. We had a good time together.
Yeah,
I remember that. I remember us doing a lot of things together.
yeah. I mean, we
Going
play
around.
football, ride around, do whatever, I can remember like when we go to the Lions Den, and I might try to dance, but uh, here or there. But maybe we played pool and foosball, and I can remember Donnie
I was
Stogsdill.
Yeah. I was a wallflower. I didn't dance.
Yeah.
I didn't dance. I never danced until I guess our senior year and right before the prom. That was the only
That
time
was it.
yeah, I didn't know how to dance. I mean,
Yeah.
so yeah, yeah.
I don't know
So
that I knew how, but you got to get out there and move anyway.
I didn't even want to try that. And to this day, my wife will still tell you I dance like a white guy.
Well, good. As you should. My
She
brother
said,
used to tell me I dance like a boxer. I would do like this.
yeah,
Just do like this. He goes, "You look like a boxer when you dance."
yeah. I,
Okay.
I have no moves.
All right. But I remember what I was going to say is that Donnie Stoggs, though, he would crack me up because he'd be playing pool and he had this cue stick, and I think I met him through you. And he would kind of dance with the pool stick and do whatever. And were you and I, when he passed in high school, were you a pallbearer at his funeral?
I can't remember, Ray.
Okay.
I remember his passing and all,
Yeah.
and that being hard because he was a close friend. He
Yeah.
come to the house a lot, and I'd go to his house a lot, and so he was a close friend. I guess he was one of my closest friends before you moved to Vernon.
Yeah. I just
That
remember being in because I was a pallbearer at his funeral, and so I can't remember the other guys. I assumed that you were.
I, I,
Uh,
I may have been too,
yeah.
but
And I just remember I can't remember who the pastor was who was who did the service, but I remember us um, in the limousine going to the graveside that he turned around and I don't remember the words that he said, but he tried to give us some words of comfort. This is how
uh,
you get through this, and these things happen, and, tragedy strikes, etc. I remember being moved by it, but I wish I had the words that he said now. And I don't remember who it was. And you're just a high school kid, and you're more emotional and crying and that sort of thing. But I just remember him being so funny. He got me a job at the TGNY, and we just had a really good time with him over there. And I remember you and I and he would kind of hang out and do stuff. So anyway,
yeah, that was yeah, yeah. I think the summer I met you, I was living over on Maiden Street, just
yeah,
down
yeah,
just down the road from your cousins.
yeah. Paul and
Oh,
Jerry Immel
yeah,
and Paul Gerald. Yeah,
yeah, and we used to play football and baseball in uh,
yeah,
that vacant field that they run us off every time we get over and play for a while. They'd run us off, but and not that
yeah,
we were tearing anything up. It just we were
yeah.
trespassing, but
Yeah, that's probably how I met you and Steve, just from
yeah,
playing football and them knowing Paul and Jerry. Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And then y'all moved to Gordon. That was around your freshman year, right? Did you
Freshman or
move there?
sophomore?
Sophomore
Yeah,
year? Okay.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Um, all right. So, hey, before we move to career after high school time, you
Mhm.
want to take a 2-minute drill challenge?
Yeah, I'll try it.
Okay. All right.
I don't,
We're not playing for money and we're not playing for points. This is just for fun, but this is kind of all right, you ready to go? Let me put 2 minutes on the clock here. Okay.
no,
So you just pick, either or, there's a couple of choices, or you can even throw in something else if you think of something. So, all right. You prefer pregame, halftime, or postgame?
mm. Are you talking about football
Just
or
whatever. Just whatever
uh,
sport.
if I did baseball, it would have to be uh, pregame. Uh,
Pregame. Okay.
yeah, yeah. I
All right.
enjoyed getting warming up and all, getting ready to
Okay.
play.
United Supermarket, Coys, or Piggly Wiggly?
Uh, Well, at the time, I would probably have to say United because I had more friends working at United than the others. Yeah,
Okay. Rodeo or bonfire?
I would have to say Bonfire. I wasn't much into the rodeo scene.
Okay.
I'm still not. Every now and then I'll go, but not very often. So
All right. All right. Dr. Pepper, Coca-Cola, or Pepsi?
at the time, it would have been Dr. Pepper, but I don't drink soft drinks now at all. So,
Me neither.
yeah.
Journey or Foreigner?
Oh man, you can't ask that one. I like both of them. I
All
can't
right.
pick one over the other. Both of them are two of my favorites.
All right. Dairy Queen or Bevo's?
Well, at the time we had three different Dairy Queens and only one Bevo. So if you went to Bevo's, it was probably a special treat. But Johnny and I, we would skip out of off season to go baseball. And we'd go to the Dairy Queen. We'd get the ice cream. We'd ride around until baseball practice started, until we got
Okay.
caught.
All right. Okay. Uh, Junior prom or senior prom?
Well, I have more memories of the senior prom because I went to it. I did not go to the junior prom. So
Okay.
yeah.
Band or drill team or cheerleaders?
I would have to say probably the drill team because, and the reason I say that because you have so many more of them and all doing the same routine in unison. It's just
Okay.
that was impressive.
All right. Osborne's or TGNY?
Osborne's,
Okay.
yeah.
Miller's Quick Check or Allsup's?
Oh, Miller's, yeah, Miller's.
Okay.
That's the
Uh,
easy one.
Lake Camp or Pease River?
Oh, Lake Kemp. I had a cabin out there for years, and so I love
Yeah.
going to the lake.
Yeah.
You and I went there a few times.
Many times.
Yeah.
Hardee's or Sonic?
Uh, ooh, I have memories of both of those places. I remember in the back of a pickup at Sonic, our seniors throwing water balloons out of it, and I remember being in the back end of Mickey's pickup,
Oh,
and
oh.
he gassed it, and I flew out the back end. You
Whoa,
know,
okay.
yeah, yeah. I didn't get hurt, but
Yeah.
anyway, so I'd have to say Sonic.
Okay, Sonic. All right. Let's see. Senior play or one act play?
And there again, that was some of the things I didn't get into because I left school, early. So I didn't really. I saw. I remember seeing senior play, and I remember you jumping up in Roy's arms. And
Yeah.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think y'all added that. I don't
Uh,
think that was supposed to happen, but
I don't remember. We might
I,
have.
I do believe y'all added that part, and in rehearsal, and I remember. I think I
It
remember
worked.
Miss BB liking that and saying, "Hey, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, do that. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Pep rallies or bus trips?
bus trips."
Bus
Oh,
trip. Baseball bus
yeah,
trips. We'll talk about that maybe, hey, if we can.
yeah.
Pep, let's see. The cafetorium lunch or off-campus lunch?
I did a lot of off campus because I left at lunchtime. You
Yeah.
know,
Okay.
yeah,
Pizza Hut or Pizza Point?
Pizza Point.
Hey, all right.
Yeah, just man, that place is good. I wish they were still
Yeah.
running up and running today.
Putt putt or the skating rink?
I was a lifetime member at the skating rink because
Yeah.
my parents were managing it for several years. So
Yeah, yeah.
skating rink.
All right. The Plaza movie theater or the drive-in theater?
I would have to say I've been to the plaza more than I had the drive-in because I think the drive-in our years that was starting to really lose its
Yeah.
luster.
Yeah. All right. Pioneer or JVC or Craco?
I was a Pioneer guy, but
Yeah.
I couldn't afford it, so I think I had more JVC than I had anything Pioneer.
All right. And let's see. And I think the last one, I can't read this. We're getting old, Dave. All right. Would you rather have 10 licks or 4 hours of detention? And 10
Well,
licks from a coach, not Mr. Easley.
that was easy because I took the licks from Coach Scott one day. He was either going to give me he had a deal called lunch bunch
Okay.
or you get licks. And I remember we had a class full of girls, and
Yeah.
they could talk him out of everything. And then one day he just, for some reason, I mean, they made him mad, and so he just told everybody to be quiet, and he got somebody right on the board, and I think it was Nancy Davis, uh, and anyway, she was writing down our lessons on the board, and Jimmy Orr and I sat at the back of the class. I think the only person sat further back than me was Vincent Whiteside. He sat right behind. And anyway, we couldn't read it from back there because she was writing so small. And Jimmy and I both at the same time hollered, "Write bigger." And he said, "All right, Logsdon, you and Orr, y'all got lunch bunch." And I said, "No, sir." I said, I can't read what she's writing. He said, "You don't want it?" And I said, "No, I don't." he said, okay, come go with me. So we went out in the hall, and Roy just happened to be walking by, picking up the tardy slips and the absentees, and Coach Scott told him, he said, Stolly, I need a witness. So he witnessed him giving me lick. And to be honest with you, I've never been hit so hard in my life than I was that day. And
Oh man,
I
you've
mean,
had to feel the wrath of him. He was
no, yeah,
mad.
I felt the wrath of that whole time. And so, yeah, I'd have to say the licks. I didn't,
All
because
right.
like I said, I knew right after that, because we had lunch right after that, and right after that, I was going home.
Oh yeah.
And when I remember telling Roy at sports that afternoon when I came back for it, I said, Roy, I've never been hit so hard in my life, and he literally bruised my butt.
Yeah. Did it
Yeah.
bring a tear to your eye?
Oh man, I wanted to if it hadn't been for walking back into class. I probably would.
Oh, yeah. I guess he couldn't do that then.
But Roy said he said I can remember you walking out of that classroom, and you were just laughing and joking. And he said, I never seen somebody's expression change so quick. And I said, that hurt. That hurt. But,
Oh man. Okay. All right. Well, that was a 2 minute drill. We went a little bit longer, but that's good. No problem. You got them all correct. Good
okay.
job.
All right. Well, that's good. I told you I wasn't good at math, so I don't know how long is 2 minutes.
It's a long 2 minutes. Well, my clock it said 2 minutes. You did good. Maybe we had a little extra time. All right. Before we move into your career, because right after high school, yeah, this is let me tell folks how great of a friend you were, are. When we played softball, there was a I think the girls club co-ed league played summer softball, and right after we graduated, and there were only like three teams in this whole league. They're just all high school kids and graduates. And I think I had Jimmy Orr on there and on our team, and Lynn Johnson and Kirby Johnson, um, Chris Hudler, Kim Edens. That's who was on our team. Um,
Well, you got a good
and
memory.
yeah, well, I kind of researched it a little bit, but I remember, like in the middle of the season or late middle of the season, I broke my ankle sliding a second. And I can remember, I think who was the pastor at the Wilbarger Street Church of Christ? I think he was our coach. I can't remember his name, but anyway, he comes over and it's kind of like, I think I'm crying and I'm like, I can't move because he's like, I played shortstop and I was actually pretty good, for a co-ed softball league. I did pretty good. And he's like, can you play, Gerald? Can you play? I was like, I can't walk on this. And so I remember you tried to help me to get to your car to take me to the hospital. But then you just picked me up because it was going to take us like 18 hours for me to get to the car. It seemed like I was just couldn't put any weight on it because it was broken. But you picked me up, I remember, and carried me to the car and took me to the emergency room. And you're always there for me. So I really always appreciated that you're such a good friend. And we've been friends all through high school, even though we never had any classes together. I never saw you like at school. It seemed like we didn't.
Yeah, and it wasn't because I was skipping. I promise you.
No, no, I know. It's just we had different classes or whatever. But I'd see
Yeah.
afterwards, and I could also remember you're such a good friend that I went to two-a-days senior year before we started for football, and that first day because I lived, you're closer than my house. I remember coming to your house after that morning practice. And I was like, I'm gonna quit. I threw up. I'm gonna quit, Skeeter. He just laughed at me and said, well, okay, whatever. Anyway, but I was able to go to your house and you gave me some solace. Like, it's gonna be all right, man. You can do it if that's what you want to do. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right,
You stuck it out too.
I did. All
Yeah.
right, so let's walk us through the first few years or after graduation. What were some of the hurdles and what were some of your triumphs as you finished high
Really,
school?
really, I didn't have any real hard times, like I said, because mostly I was playing softball and baseball. I mean, volleyball. I met a bunch of good people and played, several, really good teams. Our softball team, the first year that I don't know if you remember David Boyd.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he got this team together. He said, "I'm going to put this team together, and I'd like for you to play on it." And so he started telling me some of these people that were going to play on it, and it sounds like a pretty daggone good team. And so I agreed to play on it, and I was already playing on one team, but this was going to be for the next season, and I agreed to play on it. And I remember my brother being hurt because he and I had played together, for 2 or 3 years before I moved to this other team. And anyway, we that year I think we ended up going to state in Class C, and we didn't do very good. I mean, I think we were all starstruck when we got there because we just breezed through our league, and we had a really, really good team, and we played in several tournaments and won, first place in a lot of them. We even went to one tournament that they picked us to win the tournament, never even seeing us play, and it was in the Denison Sherman area.
Okay.
That it was put on by Coors Light.
Wow.
And when you got there, the entry fee was $185. I remember this. They give you 2 softballs, 2 ice chests, and 5 cases of beer and ice to ice it down with. That's how you started off the tournament. And so but anyway, they picked us to win the tournament, and we'd never even played there, and we got beat in the first game.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there was 56 teams in this tournament, and we got beat the first round, or the first game. And after that game, we played. It seemed like every other hour, because they had several fields. I think 4 fields in that facility, and so it's like we played every other hour. Wow. And by the time we finally got beat out, I think we ended up in 7th or 8th place. That we were just exhausted because we didn't have any time to rest at all. And but that was a lot of fun, and so that's what I did. I just traveled around and I played. I played with this co-ed softball team out of Childress. That was really, really good. That they invited me to play in this tournament that they were going to have at Lubbock, and it was going to be a bunch of different teams from all over playing in this co-ed volleyball tournament. And I thought, I felt kind of honored that they'd asked me because, I just played against them and played in league against them and things like that because I played in a Childress league and a Vernon league. And so I agreed to go play with them, and I went and played, and we played Hardin-Simmons University. They were some of the men's team and some of the women's because it was co-ed, and they beat the crap out of us. And I thought, wow, these kids can play.
They're good.
But
so I guess is that the soon right after high school?
That was after high school because, like I said, that's what I kept myself busy with between that and work. I stayed on the road a lot and did that. That was my thing to do. I enjoyed it.
I remember coming, when I was back at Vernon Regional Junior College, and we played in a Quanta League. I don't know if that was you got that up with Jay Galden, and I want to say maybe Mickey one summer was with us, and we played that. And we played some tournaments with John Alanis and his brothers in Frederick, Oklahoma. And, we won some trophies. Playing.
That was what they called the Mexican American tournament.
Oh,
That
okay.
it had to be 80% Hispanic
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
Indian, and then you could have like 20%, Caucasian,
Anglo.
black
Yeah.
or whatever. But yeah, it had to be 80%.
Yeah.
And
Those
so,
are
yeah,
those
so
are fun.
we played in those. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a lot of fun.
All right.
Yeah,
So you've been in construction your whole career, yeah?
correct.
And you talked
Yes.
about, working with your dad and then his partner, and then after that another contractor. And then you talked about you had your own business for a while and you traveled.
Well,
Uh,
I went, I worked for Jody's dad
oh
for
yeah, yeah.
2 or 3 years or maybe longer. That last guy that I was working in construction with, he decided he was going to move, and so he moved to the Metroplex. And when he moved to the Metroplex, well, that there again left me without a job. So I knew Jody's mom and dad was looking for somebody to help them with their woodcraft business, and so I started making all their woodcraft stuff, and it was it wasn't anything to get in 10, 12 hours a day with them, 7 days a week. And so, I mean, I stayed busy working with them. But I could see that, that wasn't going to go, anywhere. And so I ended up hiring on with this company out of Wichita Falls. Had their parent company was out of Sand Springs, Oklahoma. And their had the office in Wichita Falls, and a buddy of mine worked for this company called I think what it was. Uh, oh crap, I can't even remember what it was.
Okay.
I'll think of it. I get
All
these
right.
senior moments often.
I do too. Yeah, I do too. I walk in
Anyway,
a room and figure, why'd I walk in here? And we're young,
yeah,
this is a little
yeah.
early, but okay. You got
Anyway,
it.
oh, it's called piping engineering.
There you go.
Anyway, so what they did is they went around and worked in refineries during these shutdowns that they had, revamping refineries and that sort of thing. But I had a friend that worked in those, and I knew he was doing pretty good for himself. So he happened to be in town one weekend, and I told him, I said, man, I need a job with your company. He said, are you serious? I said, yeah. And he said, well, he said, I got to go to Wichita on Monday. He said, why don't you go to Wichita with me? And he said, we'll get you an application and, see if we can get you a job. And I said, okay, great. So Monday, I get in the truck with him. We go to Wichita Falls and said, I'm here to pick up an application. They said, we're not hiring. And I thought, oh my gosh. Anyway, so we leave, and when we get back home, well, that afternoon, after 5 o'clock, I get a phone call. It was a secretary for them, and she is from Vernon,
Oh.
and she said, "Hey, I brought you an application." I said, "I thought y'all wasn't hiring." She said, "There's ways around that." Anyway, so and she said, "Just come by the house, get it, fill it out, and bring it back to me." So that's the only application I filled out, and I filled it out, and it was pretty minimal application. No job interview or nothing. And 2 days later, I get a phone call and said, "How would you like to go to Richmond, California?"
Okay.
I said, "When?" She said, "Tomorrow." And I said, "You're kidding?" She said, "No." And so I said, "Okay." And so I called my buddy up and I said, "Hey, I'm going to Richmond tomorrow." I said, "You going?" He said, "No." He said, "That's with a different foreman than I usually go out with." He said, "So I'm not going out on this job." So I'm like, okay, I've never been on an airplane. Well, yeah, no, at that time, I don't think I'd ever been on an airplane. And, or maybe I had, I don't know. Anyway, but I'm going out with people I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah.
But in this company, they don't just hire people from, the area. They hire them from different states and everything. So I get there, and there's people from New Mexico, Colorado, California, and there's about 70 or 80 of us, and I don't know nobody. And so that was a kind of shocking
How long were you there?
start. I was actually there 2 months, a
2 months. Okay.
little bit over 2 months. Yeah, and I got to meet, and know, a bunch of good guys, and it's crazy because I got out there, and the second day I was out there, the refinery caught on fire right next to the area where they had the shutdown going on, and us revamping this one area. So they didn't let us in, and then after they finally let us in, they said, well, we're going to take 10 guys off of our crew, and we're going to move them over there. And they said, now that unit over there, it's hot. It's still live. So you're going to have to be careful. And I was one of them chosen to go work on that live unit. And I'd never been in a refinery in my life. And so that was pretty scary. But I had one guy from Colorado said, hey, I want you to work with me. And I said, okay. And he said, I'll keep you safe.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I'm still here.
Good. And you had several jobs like that with this company? You talked about different locations? Okay.
Yes. So I spent a lot of time out in Richmond, California, which if you know anything about California, the only thing that separates Richmond from San Francisco is the Richmond Bridge. And then you got the Bay Bridge, and then you got the Golden Gate Bridge. And all these bridges go into San Francisco. So so I did that's the area I was in. And I spent a lot of time out there. I spent some time in LA. I went to Kansas, where Dorothy was.
Yeah.
So this culture shock, right?
Yeah.
I went to Puerto Rico. I went to Hawaii. So there was
for work.
Yeah, for work.
Wow. Well, bad. That's tough duty when you got to go to Hawaii for work.
Yeah. That's the first time I'd ever been to Hawaii, and it's a great place to visit.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to live there. It's expensive.
Yeah.
But
And they say you get that island fever. I mean, because you're just surrounded by water, I guess. Maybe that's a tough issue to deal with, I guess, if you live there, but when you're in paradise. Okay. So you did that for how many years did you work for that company?
Well, I actually did it for 4 years. I said, if I ever find somebody to settle down with or whatever, then I'll quit doing it. And I guess into my 4th year, my wife and I, that's when we went on our first date, was when I was working for that company. I happened to be in town. She was working at this little, I don't remember if you remember the Harry Coffee Shop.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, she was working in there, and it was a Saturday morning. That generally working with Dad, we'd go in there in the mornings before we'd go to work and have breakfast, or just go in there and have coffee and a soda, and because I didn't drink coffee, and and she happened to be working in there, and she asked me out. She said, "Hey, would you like to go dancing tonight?" And I said, "Okay."
Yeah, I'm not a dancer, but I'll go.
I've learned since then.
I don't drink coffee, but I go to a coffee shop. I don't dance, but I'll go with you to dancing if I have to.
Yeah, and it was funny because that afternoon, I picked her up, and I told her I need to stop and get gas before we leave. We were going to out this little place over there called Scooters.
Scooters. Skeeter went to Scooters.
Yeah. So I stopped this gas station, and I'm getting gas, and another friend of mine drove up as I was getting gas, and saw her in the car, and said, "Hey, hey David, who you got in the car with you?" And I introduced her as a friend, and she never let me forget that.
We're on a date, dude.
I didn't say a girlfriend or anything. I just said a friend. She said, "Oh, I'm just your friend."
I'm just your friend, huh? What year was that you all met?
Let's see.
You want to go ask her real quick?
I would say I would probably no she I would probably say 95.
95. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
So it's a little over 13 years after high school. All right.
yeah,
You've been working and
yeah.
construction and doing stuff like that. Meet her. All right. You go dancing,
Yeah.
and then just kind of start dating, I presume.
Well, I think it was it might have, I don't know if it's the very next day or the next weekend or something that I had to fly
Oh.
back out to California, back out to Richmond, as a matter of fact.
Hmm.
It's a big old Chevron refinery out there. And I worked on the night shift. I was working, 7 to 7. And every night we talked on the phone while I was out there, except one night. I think I made her mad, and that's the only reason we didn't talk that one night. I don't know. I probably said something about being friends, just friends or
Oh.
something. I don't know.
All right.
but that was actually the very last job I worked with them,
Okay.
because I got a call from my dad and said, he'd gotten back into construction. So, when I get home from these jobs, I would work for him or with
Okay.
him or for
Right.
him or whatever you would say. I'd work until I went back out on another job. And
Okay.
these jobs could last anywhere from 2 weeks to months. I guess the longest I was out on a job, I was out for about 6 months.
Okay.
But I went from Richmond to L.A. and from L.A. to New Orleans.
Wow.
And so I stayed living out of a suitcase for about 6 months.
Okay.
So,
All right.
anyway, but he called me while I was out there
Okay.
and told me that he needed some help. I knew he had one guy that worked with him because they were just doing small jobs.
Mhm.
And he said, I need some help. And I said, well, this job, when it gets over, I'll come home and help you. And he said, like I always do. And he said, no, you don't understand. I need help. And he said, I have 2 houses to build.
Oh.
I need your help.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I told him, I said, well, if you promise me we'll stay busy, I'll make this my last job. Because those jobs that we'd go on with them, we'd work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. So you didn't have a whole lot of time to do anything other than collect money, which was good money.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
so I made that my last job.
Okay.
But I'd also pretty well figured out that Danita was the one I was going to settle down with.
All right. But so when did you get married?
3 years later.
3 years later.
We
Okay.
we dated 3 years. So we didn't just jump right into marriage.
So 98. Okay, right? 98.
It was 98. Yes, it
Okay.
was.
All right.
Uh,
98.
it was August. I can even tell you the date. So I do know.
All right. Good. Good. All right. And so what? So you've been married for since 98. And what I get what's the day since high school that marked the end of childhood for you and said, okay, now this is the beginning of my adulthood.
As soon as my dad, well, let me back up. As soon as I bought the Trans Am, because now I had a payment.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. For folks that don't know, we had gone either to Houston. I went on a family vacation with you to
we
Houston
we
or
we we
Galveston.
we actually went to Houston.
Yeah.
We were going there to a wedding, and
Okay.
then yeah, because it was one of my youth ministers when I was going to church at the Church of Christ. He was
Okay.
one of my youth ministers that had a big impact on me.
Right.
And so we were going there, and then after that, we came back, and you and I went to Six Flags. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, we went to Six Flags,
At
and
DFW in Arlington, Six Flags or Houston?
in Arlington, and
Okay.
and 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 I remember Dad telling on the way to, I think it's on the way back from Houston to
Yeah.
Arlington. He said, I think it's about time for you a new car.
Yeah.
And I thought he was just kidding. And I said, well, there ain't nothing wrong with my car. I had a good car.
Yeah.
And then when he picked us up at Six Flags, him and Mom,
Yeah.
he said, I found you a car. And I said, oh, yeah. And he said, yeah. So he drove us to this place called Luke Pontiac.
Luke Pontiac. Yeah.
Luke Pontiac. And there was this Trans Am sitting on the showroom floor.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, Dad, I got to have that. And he said, well, go make a deal. And so that was my first experience with making a car deal. So I went in there and talked with the guy about, and of course, Dad went in with me.
Yeah.
And I thought I made a pretty good deal with the guy. And after I made the deal, well, I looked at Dad and I said, what now? And he said, write him a check.
Yeah. That's right. I remember you wrote him a check. I think Dave can write a check for a car. I was impressed.
So I wrote a check. And then I remember walking out of that and I said, Dad, I don't have that kind of money in my account. And he said, that's all right. We'll go to the bank when we get,
Yeah.
Monday morning and tell them what you did.
Yeah.
And so that's how I bought my first car.
Yeah. We hopped in that thing and rode back. Man, we were styling, man.
Yeah, and I had two cars, and I said, "What do I do with the other one now?" And he said, "We'll just sell it." So, yeah. And little did I know when he sold it that he was going to keep the money.
Because that was his car. Yeah.
He bought it. But now I have a car payment and an insurance payment. That's when I realized I was an adult.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah. I remember that riding back in that thing, coming back. It was a cool car. All right. Okay. So, what would you say have been the biggest either personal or professional milestones since graduation?
Well, I would say a big milestone was getting married, and because I said I'd never get married, I'd never have kids. Well, all in one weekend and saying I do, I had both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
Because if my wife had two kids, and so when I said I do to her, I was saying I do to them too.
Yeah.
And so I raised them as my own.
Right.
I think I've raised them since the age of 7 and 9. So
Okay.
and, our oldest one, I think he just in November I think he turned 41. So
Okay.
so it's been many years
Yeah.
of raising kids.
Yeah. And I know the younger one, you lost him. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
We lost him in Iraq in August of 2007.
Yeah.
He was working for me in my cabinet shop because I owned a cabinet shop. Well, let me back up. When I came back from California before Danita and I got married, well, my dad and we partnered up in the business, Logsdon Construction, and up until the time that he retired, well, he and I were partners, and then I just took over the business. But while we were partnered up, well, then our youngest son, he went to work for us in my cabinet shop, and it just so happened one day we were out eating. I don't even remember where we were eating. But this Army recruiter walked in, big guy, big muscled up guy, and I remember my son being impressed with this guy, and he got to think about wanting to join the Army, and so we kind of talked about it. And next thing I know, he has this Army recruiter coming to the house, and he said, "Hey, Mom can't be there because she's got class. Will you be there?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll be there." So sure enough, he came and sat down, talked with us, and next thing I know, he was going to Oklahoma City to take the ASVAB test, and doing the ASVAB test. Well, he, find out what all you can qualify for in the Army. But I remember telling him distinctly, whatever you do, don't sign anything until you come back and talk with me and your mother. Well, when he got back, he said, well, I enlisted for 2 years. But that was him, just did stuff kind of spontaneously, and what he thought was he wanted to do. That's what he did, and but he was always our quiet one, one to kind of stand back and observe. And he was like me at the line scene. He was a wallflower too. So, but yeah, so he joined, and we lost in 2007 in the Iraq War.
Yeah. And how did you and Danita, how did you get how does one get through that?
Faith.
Faith?
Yeah, if you don't have faith, I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
It was a struggle, even though we had faith. It's still a struggle.
Sure.
But we were surrounded by this community. I could tell you that. Ooh, now I get emotional. It's hard for me to talk about it. She can talk about it all day long, but and why it affects us the different way, I don't know. But anyway, so no, we had from the moment we got the news, our house was a revolving door. It'd start at around 7 o'clock in the morning, and at 10 o'clock at night, we would literally shut the doors off or turn the lights off and shut the doors. And, we'd tell people that were there, because there would still be people here that, you can stay as long as you want. We're not going to run you off. And we may stay up till 12, 1 o'clock in the morning talking with whoever was still here. Right. And then, like I said, it was like that for 10 full days.
Wow. Okay.
Because
the community came together.
Because it took us maybe a week to get him home.
Okay.
So.
Right. But what did so what has marriage and fatherhood? What have you learned from those experiences?
Well, I found out that if you can, you can get through the death of a child, and you can get through a remodel or a building a house together, you can get through about anything. Because we've had our ups and downs. There's no doubt in that. But we've had some really good times together. I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else. So, but
that's great.
But like I said, we've had a good marriage. We've done a lot of things. We've hosted foreign exchange students.
Yeah.
After we lost Ron, Danita wanted to do fostering, and I refused to do fostering. And then she brought up, well, what about foreign exchange? I said, I'd probably do that, because these are kids that are coming over that, they're coming from good homes, good families. Yeah. And so we know when they go back, they're going back to a good home. Unlike fostering, if you get a kid in your home and they could be good kids to you or whatever, but they could come pull them and send them back into the same situation they were in before you got them to start with. But we've done foreign exchange, and we ended up doing fostering too. So we've had many kids in our home since.
And what is that? What have you learned, or what have you gotten from fostering and hosting foreign exchange students?
Well, the foreign exchange, we've met a lot. We've had some good kids. I think how many we've had. I don't know. I think 5, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
From a variety of countries, or
yes,
same one. Okay.
Yeah, our first one. We got a girl. My wife wanted to get a boy because we had boy family, and I convinced her that we need to get a girl to start with because I didn't want it to feel like we were trying to replace the one we lost. And so I said, let's get a girl. And so we did. And she was from Switzerland, good kid, good student, wanted to try everything. She tried volleyball. She was not very good at it, but, we never let our kids quit in sports. But she decided she wasn't going to get to play and she wasn't very good. Yeah. So she quit the sport, but she stayed on as a manager.
Okay.
And then she tried basketball. She played JV basketball. She was a sophomore, and so she played JV basketball. Wasn't very good at that either, but she did get to try, and she did play a little. But
we needed winter sports for her.
Yeah.
We need downhill skiing and ice skating, whatever.
Yeah, we didn't have none of that, but she had never played sports, and so this was a new thing for her. And so the next year we got two boys. We got two boys. They were one from Sweden and one from Germany. The Sweden boy wanted to play American football. And more than anything, he wanted to play Texas high school football. Okay. Because they play, I don't know if you know, they play club ball where they come from in the European countries. They don't have sports in school. Okay. So everything they do is club ball. I guess kind of like the Boys and Girls Club. Right. And he was probably pretty good over there. He was a quarterback, had a good arm. He could throw the ball. I mean, and he was going to try out for quarterback. And I think he thought he was going to come over here and just take Texas football by storm. He found out it's not the same thing. he went from being a backup quarterback on the varsity. He was a junior to being a safety on the JV team. Yeah, so that's how how much difference there was, and he found out real quick. And it seemed like every day he'd come home, he would have an ice pack on a shoulder or a knee or a thigh or somewhere, and he found out it was pretty tough.
Be careful what you ask for. You got Texas football.
We're pretty serious around here about our sport.
Well, how long do you normally have exchange students?
Usually either 6 months or a year for a full school year or for half a semester. And so he ended up staying half a semester. He had some family problems at home. Right before he came over, his mom and dad had gotten a divorce, and so it was a bad time for him to be coming in. And the German kid, he was a good he's a good basketball player, and he was going to get started on the varsity, and they were playing in a scrimmage game, and he fell back and he broke his wrist. And so he was out most of the season. He finally got to come back toward the end of the season, but he ended up missing most of the season. But he stayed all year long. And and then after those two, we quit doing that for a while. And I don't remember if we got the next two or we started fostering. Oh, I think we started fostering. She finally talked me into fostering, and the first two kids we got at 2:00 in the morning. Wow! A little 5-year-old girl, and I think her brother was 9. Okay, and super kids. Yeah. But you'd think, at that age, coming to a house that you don't know anybody or whatever, it'd be tough. But and I'm sure it was tough on them because they got pulled from their family, and it's a whole lot different. There's a lot more politics involved in fostering. The kind of training you have to go to do all that sort of thing, and it's pretty.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of it, and
Yeah, I could imagine there would be, I guess.
so uh,
Hmm.
I'm gonna say we probably had 15, 20 kids, foster kids in our home.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
we
And
had we had one set of girls. There was three of them, and we got them from a family in Wichita Falls that just the middle child was a problem, and so they decided they wasn't gonna do it no more. And so we ended up getting these three girls out of Wichita. Well, the middle child was still a problem, and they ended up. Well, we've talked about adopting them, but we said that it's going to be hard to adopt them with that middle child being the way she was.
yeah,
And you ought to know that you're a middle child, right?
I am a middle child. But I'm the good one. You
Well,
know,
yeah,
Richard,
that's
Richard
what.
and Don might have something else to say about that, but I'm the good one.
Yeah, but anyway, they ended up. We had them for a little over a year, and then they ended up leaving our home, going to possibly a forever home in Iowa Park, and the couple that was going to make them a forever home there, they had them 2 months, and they said we can't deal with this middle child no more. So they got pulled from that family, got put in a family in the metro area, temporary, and then they got into another home that was supposed to be a forever home, and they had them for about 2 months and said the same thing. The middle child was, and finally they removed the middle child, and when they removed the middle child, well then that family was going to go ahead and adopt the other two, but they told them no, it was pretty much a package deal. If you're gonna adopt, you're gonna adopt all three of them. And
Okay.
well, they said, well, if that's the case, well then you just I'm going to give you 30-day notice to come remove these other two. And so they removed the middle child and put her in a group home for a while. In the meantime, they needed to find a place to put the other two, and they ended up coming back and living with us for another year.
Okay.
And
Wow.
yeah,
Huh?
so but it's different. So
Yeah. I don't think
and then
I don't think I knew that about you that you had foster kids. I don't remember that. Maybe we just didn't talk about that much. But
yeah, yeah.
is besides that, because is there something about your life journey that you want others that we don't see on the surface that you want others to know?
Uh, I don't know of anything. I'm not special. I'm
Yeah.
just a guy that tries to help out. Me and my wife, more my
Yeah.
wife because she'll ask me about doing it, and I'll say whatever makes you happy. That's all we do. That's
All
kind of
right.
that's
Oh,
kind of the
good.
way it works. And,
All
and
right.
then we ended up with two foreign exchange kids that were here in Vernon that was put in a bad situation.
Mm,
Uh, when you don't the the boy, he was from Taiwan.
okay.
Uh, anyway, he was coming to our church on Wednesday nights, or our youth, and
Hmm.
he was asking everybody, would you, can I come live with you? Can I come live with you? And our youth minister told him, you need to talk with David and Danita because they've done this before. And he finally, approached Danita and said, "Can I talk with you?" After church. And she said, sure. And so we sat down and talked with him, and he kind of told us his situation. And Danita called this coordinator and got it set up and got him removed from that home and put in our house. And, you're a foreign exchange student. You come over here for, learning uh, and to get, a taste of the American culture, and he was getting a bad taste of the American culture. And anyway, so he ended up moving in with us. When I went to go get his stuff, the family had all this stuff thrown in a trash bag, and that's how he got all his stuff back in a black trash bag. And so anyway, so we set him up here, and there was a girl living with him at the time as well. And I remember asking him, I said, "Well, what about Alicia?" And he said, "Oh no, she's fine. She likes it there." Well, they have an option during spring break to go different places.
Mhm.
And that year they were going to go to Philadelphia, New York, and visit the historic sites.
Mhm.
And so that family, we told them, since we had the one kid and they had the other kid, that hey, if y'all take them to the airport, then we'll pick them up. And they said, sure, we'll do that. Well, they took them to the airport, dropped them off at the curb, and drove off. Didn't help them with anything, and
Oh
just
my gosh.
dropped them off and drove off. And I didn't find this out until later when I went and picked them up. And
Yeah.
and then when I went and picked them up,
Hmm.
well, she called her host family and said, "Hey, I'm back, on the road. We're headed home." And they said, "Well, we're not there." They were in a different town altogether, knowing that that was the day she was coming back.
Wow.
And she said, "Well, I have a key to the house." And they said, "Well, you don't have a key to the deadbolt. We got it locked." And
Hmm.
I said, "Well, just tell them that you'll come stay with me or with us we uh, until they get home." And
Yeah.
so she said, "Well, they said I can stay with them until y'all get home." And they agreed. So when she got off the phone with them, she said, "So I'm going to come stay with you." And I said, "Yeah, that's what we talked about." No, she said, "I'm going to come stay with you." And I said, "What's going on?" And she told me, and so she ended up moving in with us that night
Mhm. Okay.
and staying with us. The next day, well, they were home, and we went over to get her stuff. Same way, all in a black trash
Trash
bag.
bag. Yeah. Oh,
And
that's
so,
terrible.
so the only good time that she had when she was here was the last 2 months of her
Mm.
stay of school.
Okay.
But
Wow. Hmm.
she's actually one of the closest one we've stayed in touch with. We
Oh,
actually
really?
went, and she was from Spain,
Okay.
Madrid, and
Hmm.
so 2 or 3 years ago was our 25th anniversary,
Yeah.
and we went there and stayed with her and her family for 2 weeks.
Yeah. You went to Spain?
Yeah, we went to Spain,
Yeah.
and yeah,
That's
so
nice.
and visit with her. So, and she's the only one that we've been back to see. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, so
All right. Well,
and
great.
we just had another one from Spain too.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, so I don't know if you see my shirt. It's got the American
You-
flag and the Spanish flag.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I can't
because
see. I can't see it, but
okay. Anyway, it's got the American flag and the Spanish flag.
okay.
Uh, they if the Americans would have won in soccer and the Spains would have won, they would have had to face each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the
Yeah.
time, we
Spain won
had
it today, right? Didn't Spain
yeah,
win
Spain
today?
won it today. It's
Yeah.
and our last foreign exchange student, just went home, about a month after school this year, and he
Yeah.
was from Madrid, and
Okay.
so we have to root for Madrid too, or for Spain
Okay.
too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, great. Okay. Good. Well, that sounds like a very positive experience, and sounds like you've got a pretty good heart for young people and putting them in your home and supporting them. Uh, is there anything about your life that you would want to either teach others or to inspire people at all?
Just be, positive role model. I, I, I guess over the years, I'm not I'm not very hot headed. I'm pretty level headed guy. I don't get mad very easy, uh, and so I try to treat others like I want to be treated. Try to and so that's the main thing. I mean, I've always done that with them when I was in business for myself, or even since I've gone to work for the state. The guys that are you know under my leadership, I'll treat them all with respect, courtesy, and just I'm just not one to get mad. I don't try to talk down on anybody. It's counterproductive.
When what year did you go work for the state?
I've been with them a little over 8 years now.
Okay. And this is
So,
the state hospital, are you at the north or
well,
the
we actually work at both of them.
oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah. So the North campus has the adults, and the South campus has the juveniles.
Okay. All right.
So,
All right. And
so
are you still working? Do you have any plans for retirement?
well, if you know me, I'm a workaholic. Uh, I work for the state, but I still do some stuff outside of work because I like to do it. I like creating stuff and building things,
Right.
and
Okay.
so I was hoping this last year to retire from outside things
Mm-hmm.
and just
Can't do it.
stay. I just can't say no.
Yeah.
I've actually met some really good people out at the state that has called me and asked me to work on their house, and so I've gotten a lot of people from the state that I've worked on their houses and stuff.
Okay, good. Yeah, I
So
remember working with you on a couple of these. I think early on, right after high school. I think the girls' club, some kind of foundation, laying the rebar for foundation. I seem to recall, or maybe some building that was across from the what do you call it? The auditorium, Wilbarger Auditorium. Anyway,
yeah,
we did that, and you had me one time we at a house, put in insulation, doing different kind of easy job, daytime or for a week. Hey, do this for
yeah,
whatever. So
yeah.
I remember those type of jobs. But all right, Dave. If you had to write a letter to your high school self, what would you tell Skeeter?
Oh man, that you could probably do more in life than what you've accomplished. Even though I feel like I've had a successful life, I feel like if I would have just applied myself a little bit more in school, that I could have done a little bit more. Not the saying that I would go to school, but
Hmm.
I have taken up reading. So
Okay.
I can't tell you how many books I've read now. There's been quite a few of them, but
Well,
I have
good.
taken up some reading, and I kind of did that more after we lost our son
Hmm.
in Iraq. Uh, just because there was a lot of people that were writing books, about the war, and
Hmm.
so me and my wife, we were reading different books that come out about that, just trying to put ourselves in his shoes, uh,
Sure.
and so yeah, that I could probably do better, do more if I would just applied myself a little bit more. Uh,
Okay. Well, I know
um,
that. Go ahead.
like I said, I know that I've been. At least I'm pretty sure I've been a good role model for our oldest son, who up until uh, I guess about a year and a half ago, he had to move in with us because he's got a progressive MS, and he's unable to have any mobility in his lower extremities, and so he's in a wheelchair now. So when last time you saw me, we were in the middle of remodeling this house that
Well,
we're
it's probably been redone, I'm guessing. Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
We've redone probably about 90% of it. There's still a few things that we want to do, and but we literally bought this house uh, for him because it's got two master bedrooms, and he's able to have his own end of the house and his own bathroom where he don't feel like he's a burden. Uh, especially if somebody comes over and they have to use a restroom, that go in there, and all of his handicap stuff is in there. So that's that's uh, that's the biggest reason we live in the house we live in now.
All right. And does he need a special care, or do you and Danita do most of the caring for
Well,
him?
He has occasionally a nurse that comes over, not all the time because he's not he don't have that uh, I guess full disability
Right.
to where he can get full care.
Right.
So Danita and I do most of it.
Good.
So yeah,
Good.
but yeah, we've come a long way.
Yeah, yeah. When was he first diagnosed? Because you said he has most
Yeah,
couple of years, most more progressive now, but I
it's
assume he had.
probably it's probably been 5 years now that
Okay.
when he was first diagnosed. So he and I we used to play golf together. He lived in the Austin area,
Mhm.
and so I'd take a trip there, or Danita and I'd go there, and he and I'd go play around the golf. And but in the 5 years he went from seemed like a healthy kid to being put in a wheelchair. So that was kind of hard. Uh,
Yeah, I can only
especially
imagine.
more for him,
Yeah.
knowing that because he always worked out. He ate well. He's not into all the junk food and everything like we are.
Yeah. Understand.
I say we. I, uh, I don't. You could look at me and say, you don't look like you're into junk food, but hey, I could make a meal off a couple of cookies.
I understand. Well, that must be I can understand. As tough as that is, I think your faith is probably, my guess is getting you uh,
Yeah,
just to just to just to deal
yeah,
with it and it's accept it as it comes, whatever the Lord has in store for us, that's what he has in store. So
yeah.
it sounds like you have a very pretty as positive an attitude as you can for having to go through that with him.
Well, we've been going through a study at our church that there was no sickness or anything until Satan was able to rule the world, and when Satan was able to rule the world, that's when all the sickness and everything come in. It isn't God's will for any of us to be sick, or it's Satan's, and so if you look at it that aspect, well, then this doesn't have any, anything to do with the Lord's will.
Right.
It's more Satan's will. Uh, you know, uh, he has the power to undo it, but his time's not come yet, right? And so when that time comes, well, then all's going to be made well.
God will be glorified when that happens.
So,
All right. Well, Dave, I know you got to work. It's getting kind of late for those that are watching this. It's getting late here, but you got work. You got work in the morning. But are there any parting words that you want to share, or anything that's pressing on your heart that I haven't asked, or any questions you have to ask me?
no, what you're doing. I was kind of hesitant when you first approached me about it, but I watched a few of your interviews, and I feel that it become more of a positive thing because we do get away from one another. We don't stay in touch like we used to. I mean, like I said, I still run into some of our classmates here and visit with them and uh, you know, talk to them like we've known each other and seen each other forever.
Right, right.
But I'm not any different now than I was then. I'm pretty much the same, easy going for the most part. I can
Yeah.
be stubborn. Ask my wife about that.
Yeah, yeah,
But no, I can honestly say for the most part I've had a good life.
yeah,
Thank the Lord. As Jody said, we're blessed, but sometimes you can be blessed, but you can still be depressed at the same time. So
yeah.
uh, it just so happens, that we take things as they go and as they come, and we lean on our faith, and we just think our community around that for the support that we got when we needed it, and we try to just give back when we can.
Yeah. Well, great
So
words. Well, I really want to thank you for saying yes and for this conversation that we got to have today. You and I were really close in high school, and in those few years after high school, you were in my wedding, and so we just lost touch, as life happens, and we have wives and children and work and careers, and distance kind of moves us apart. But I cherish the time that we had together in high school and fond memories of playing softball and riding around together and going on trips. And I remember I was talking with Mickey the other day, that when the group of us guys went to his wedding, I think in your van again, we went to his wedding and had a good time. And I remember you weren't much of a, when you talked about that Coors Light sponsoring that tournament. I thought, well, Skeeter wasn't a very big drinker. I remember you didn't drink, I don't think, at all in high school. Maybe after when we started, you may have had a beer or two, but you were never a really big drinker. I thought, well, that was unique that
yeah,
Coors Light sponsored that. You weren't
yeah,
like that doesn't mean nothing to David, I don't think. So, but I just value our friendship, and I'm almost embarrassed to say that I've let it slip, and that we haven't had interaction. But when I do get to see you, it's like you said, we pick up right where we left off. Seems like so.
yeah.
I appreciate that. So
Yeah, I have had got to run into Jody a couple times that when he's come in to see his dad,
yeah,
and so we kind of got reacquainted as well. Because like he said, he during all the times we've had the reunions, well, he's been you know coaching football, and so he wasn't able to make any of them.
right.
But I have got see him a couple of times since when he come into town. I was in touch with Jay for a while when he'd come into town and we'd go to the cruise together,
Okay.
and so that kind of died out with I guess after I had my motorcycle wreck, and uh,
Yeah.
he but no everything, but I don't have all my original parts. I have some plastic parts now, but
Yeah.
but
And I don't know, that's for another time. Maybe we had part two on some of these, because there's folks that I had really close relationships that we have stories that we could probably share, some that we may not want to share. Uh, but like folks knowing that may or may not know that you had a motorcycle accident, and is that why you have some of your parts that are plastic now, or
yeah,
metal or whatever?
yeah, well, that's my shoulder. I tore up my
Yeah.
knee playing sports, and so
Yeah.
after I've done that, well, I quit playing sports, and I just
Okay.
decided I'd rather walk uh,
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
play sports, and so that's kind of so. But
Yeah.
yeah, almost killed myself on a motorcycle, but that's for another day.
Yeah, okay. All right. We'll talk about that and see if we can have a special episode for that one. Uh, all right. Well, again, thanks, and I value your friendship, and I'm really glad to see the way the Lord has worked in your life with your career and with your marriage, and just and your attitude towards the difficult times in your life with loss and with uh, and working with those young people that you have in your home. I just think it just goes to show that you have a heart for helping others, and you've always had that. You've always helped me, and you were close. We were just close friends back then. So I really appreciate that, and seeing how your journey has taken off. So thanks
Yeah,
again for your time. Thanks for your
yeah.
friendship.
All right. Well, I appreciate yours too, Ray, and thanks for this time as well.
Sure. All
We'll
right, uh, folks. Well, this is episode with David Logsdon. I hope that you have enjoyed it as much as I have, and getting to see what's David been doing for all these years. And again, we hope that you'll watch the rest of these episodes, and the in a flash, the years go by. And I just want to say thanks to Dave, and thanks to you all for watching. And we'll see you all the next time. See you, Dave.
see you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of In a Flash, the Years Go By podcast. If today's conversation reminded you of home, of lion pride, or of a chapter in your own life's journey, you're in the right place. Be sure to subscribe, share the episode with another lion, and keep spreading that Vernon Lion spirit wherever you are. And if you'd like to be a guest or nominate someone with a story worth telling, reach out. We all would love to hear from you. And until next time, remember, Lions, Lions, we back you, says the class of '82.